Hi guys, welcome to Heal and Learn. This is Zorina, your host, and today I'm speaking to Alfredo Diaz about success, fulfillment, the many phases of success. Because as you know, everybody perceives success in a different way, but we are going to look at it from the perspective of the cards of truth, which is a sleeve of astrology. And if you haven't followed until now, Alfredo Diaz is a Cards of Truth holistic coach. He's especially good at interpreting your chart regarding love, relationships, and purpose. Hi, Alfredo. Welcome.
Hi, Sorina. How are you? Happy to be here again.
Happy to have you back after a month break. You were away.
Yes.
For vacation.
I went to my hometown.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So, how successful do you feel today?
I feel very fulfilled. I feel successful.
Okay.
And I think you were right. Excuse me, tell me.
I'm just wondering where to start unwinding the topic from. And you said, I feel very fulfilled, so I feel successful.
Yes.
Does fulfillment equal success? What do you think?
Well, feel successful is very particular, as you said, as you mentioned. It's something that is very personal. There is nothing that you can. It's something that you don't have to compare with others. It's something very personal, very particular. Something that is a success for you, maybe is something extraordinary for others, or maybe it's not enough for other people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you feel success because, oh, I just bought my Corvette. But I feel success because I have some food on the table. It depends on the circumstances. And that's why it's very particular. It's something that I recommend to everyone, even to myself. One principle that is not to compare to anyone, because we are here in life in this world with some purpose, very particular purpose, with some gifts that are given by the universe. And we are here to develop that. Because it's very particular, we don't have to compare with others. And this is one of the main principles.
Would you say that success is more of the recognition of others rather than the internal feeling? And would you define the internal feeling as fulfillment?
I think it's very internal. Mm-hmm. More than, because when you take reference from others, which is in some point is good in the sense that you have some reference. I always have some reference. For instance, my reference is in my astrology and the Cards of Truth studies is my master teacher, Ernst Wilhelm. And this is my reference, but if I compare myself with him, I'm a very little grain in the beach, in the sand, because he has so many capacities and he has so many knowledge and skill that if I think that I'm going to be with him, it's unrealistic. That's why, yeah.
Go ahead, Finn. Yeah, Finn, go ahead.
Yeah, my thing is that I use a formula. Maybe just say how to use a formula for success. It's something that
before we go with the formula and with the you mean it's not a Cards of Truth formula, it's a different type of formula.
Oh yeah.
Okay. May I just add something here, because I had the observation of I was carefully listening to what you were saying, and when you were talking about not comparing yourself to others, but then we can never avoid the feedback that we get from others. So they're a reflection of us. And so that means the feedback that we are getting in terms of are we successful or not, they always act like mirrors. And whether we can isolate ourselves enough or not is a question of, I would say, mindset, internal strength, how well you've trained yourself to specifically separate yourself from the opinion of others, but they always give you feedback, not necessarily for comparison, but according to their expectations for you, of what you're supposed to be doing or how successful you're supposed to be. So that also plays a role.
Yeah, when I said about not comparing and not close to receive feedback, I think the feedback is very helpful, because it's I will say signals, or yeah, the comments always you take and you get that the attention from others to improve, to avoid some.
I would say it depends. It's not always, it's not valid across the line, because some people are very sensitive, and any small criticism would completely discourage them to do whatever they're doing. And then, you know, the saying, you're never a prophet in your own village. Mm-hmm. So that means that sometimes when you're trying new things and you're trying to get feedback from the people that know you well, from the people around you, friends, family, you're likely to get negative feedback. That's because you're a prophet at your own village. You're doing something new, and they're not used to that. They want to hold you in the space that they know you. They want to hold the image of you as they know you. So it's, do you understand where I'm going with that? It's
yeah, I'm just writing here because I don't want to lose the idea that I want to tell you about this. How to address this. There are two things. Okay. Now, there are two things. I think one thing that is very particular, it's something that you have inside. Nobody is going to move that if you have the very good values and principle is your identity. Sorry. If you have a strong identity, regardless the people say about you, okay, you take it and leave it. Just like a switch. You just get what is good and you discard what is bad. It's like our looms or our system. They take what is good, what is bad, they just discard. The other thing is the reputation. The reputation is something that might depend on you, but you can control the criticism from others. What you can defend by yourself is your identity, which depends only from you. The reputation is something that you build, but you don't control 100%. Because something that is being commented, reflected, and produced by others. Your identity is what you believe in yourself. So when somebody says something that is very sensitive for you and you get discarded, you have a very weak identity. That's why it's very important to have strong roots, like a tree, in order to avoid any element to, affect you in a very bad way. I don't know if I answered the question or your comment.
Yes. I'm thinking, the first thing that people need to train is mindset. I mean, one of my first videos that I ever made, apart from the one on the silver method that probably everybody's on this channel because of this video, but there was another video that I made at the very beginning, which was the 5 factors of success in business. And I specifically talked about the types of knowledge that helps people the most. And it's not the business knowledge. Of course, it helps if you have a degree, if you have technical knowledge that you can use for your particular job, but that's like a given. A lot of people have that. But what is going to move you and separate you from the masses and like give you a lift up is knowledge about your mindset, how to control your mindset, how to understand relationships, how to manage your environment, how to network, how to manage your mind with not only understanding the principles of how the mind works and like convincing yourself in logical ways, but also using techniques on a subconscious level to train your neural pathways to be able to be more effective, more creative, more self-confident. So there are types of knowledge that even if you don't have strong roots by default, if you're not brought up like this, or if you've been through traumatic experiences that have brought you down, this doesn't mean that forever you're going to be unsuccessful. There are ways to train yourself. It's all in your hands. And the knowledge that will bring you forward is knowledge about your mindset and how to control your mind using these tools that I just mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Being heated.
Are we coming to the 3-step process?
Yeah, because I mean, we are not perfect, and anybody is perfect in this world. And you have to be ready to get criticism from people. And it's part of your fine-tune, as you say, I mean, when you are exposed to public or to your job or whatever you do, you are exposed to be to receive some comments. Sometimes they are coming with a good will, I will say, but other are very, toxic, I will say. And yeah, there are some techniques that we need to learn, but it's part of the process and our growth. And sometimes we don't have the roots, as you said, completely mature. But we are in the process to have it and to put the root stronger, because we know that every time a hurricane is coming, the element is going to hit us. We need to be strong enough to avoid, falling down. Mm-hmm. So that's why, I mean, having a good knowledge about yourself, I think to be success in something, you have to look what you do. I mean, and sometimes you say, well, maybe, and it happened to me as well, sometimes you feel lost. I don't know what to do. But at the when you are contemplating yourself, you know what you want. In one point in time, after you relax your mind, maybe after many troubles or many struggling situation, there is one point in time that your mind is telling you what you want, what you passionate. And I think that's the voice that you have to hear in order to succeed, because to succeed, you have to work a lot. Succeed is something that takes time. Of course, there are some strategies to succeed, because maybe I had the goal to, because I remember when I think I was doing my choice for to become a professional in something. I was thinking a medical doctor. I was thinking maybe to study to be an actor, to go for the TV. Sometimes I was thinking also to become
sorry. So instead you became a holistic coach.
Oh, yes.
Between a medical doctor and a scientific person.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was I'm thinking now what I was passionate about it, but at the very same time, I was realistic. Okay, what is the university that I have? I don't have resources to go outside my own hometown. Oh, I had these options. So finally, I choose to become or to get the degree in electronics engineer. I think for the time in 1970s, 1980s, I was the electronics engineering, and I think still it was a very promising career. And I did my choice, but I worked a lot for that. It took me not 5 years, it took me 6 years. And I have to work along my studies and so many things. But you have to eat it like a cake. Don't eat the cake in just only one, bite. You have to cut it little by little and eat it little by little. And this is one of the secrets of success, because when you put your expectations, which is, I think, is one of the very first steps to success. What are the expectations that I'm putting, that I envision? Are they a realistic expectation, or they are very unrealistic? Something that you are not able to accomplish. So one of the things that we have to learn when we want to succeed is we need to measure our expectation, even counting time and resources. And if it's aligned with your passion, it's great. I think it's one of the secrets. It has to be something that you are passionate about it, regardless what the other people said about it. I think it's one of the moments that you have to pay attention to your little child and move forward with to make your dream come true. That's why I was telling you I had a formula. It's not the Carlos True formula. It's something that I learned when I was working 30 years ago. And it says...
May I just insert something here regarding what you just mentioned about the effort you need to put?
Yeah.
So a few days ago, I had a comment, or not a comment, like a post in the community section of YouTube, where I said, the moment when you start feeling that your work has become drudgery, then quit. When should you quit? You should quit when the work becomes drudgery. But there's a big difference between temporary drudgery and drudgery continuous, on a continuous basis, because of course from time to time you need to do, and I had a talk with Joe and Cindy, Shaman Joe, Fox Dreamer, and Cindy for the meditation and mentoring group, and Cindy also talked about how sometimes you need to go through drudgery, but this is not drudgery all day long the whole time. It just means perseverance. You need to put effort, what you just mentioned. So drudgery means perseverance, but not something that is super unpleasant. So the moment it becomes a persistent drudgery, then you should quit.
Yeah, I would like to use an example to back you up.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we have to go to the dentist. This is a kind of, you don't have to go every single day. It's gonna be so very unpleasant. It's necessary, it's healthy, it's painful. Even if you use anesthesia, but when you hit your gum, it hurts. But it's necessary. So to get something fixed or to accomplish something, you have to do unpleasant things. But it has to be temporary. You can be, if you are studying like we do in the university, you need to sleep in some point in time. I remember when I was in college, my time for sleeping was very short, but at the very end it was worth it. But then I sleep as much as I can after I finish my college. It's something temporary.
It's temporary, but I still wouldn't call it something super unpleasant. Yeah, maybe there's a, yeah, as we said, portion that is unpleasant, but the majority of the activities that you do should be in the flow. Otherwise, you're not on your path. You're not following your purpose.
Oh, yeah.
If the whole thing is really against your flow.
Exactly. I mean, what the effort that you are putting, the hours that you need to,
yeah. But then you're
master.
still enjoying it, right? You're still, you still have some sort of satisfaction that you're doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And something that, yeah, I still loving studying. As a matter of fact, these talks drives me to research. Every time that we talk here, half an hour, 1 hour, it takes me like maybe 5 hours, 6 hours. I love to do this because I learn a lot before we talk our topic. It's not something that just, oh, let me see what I'm gonna say. Let me see to the ceiling and taking something from the air. No, I always do my notes and everything. I love to do it that way. That's why, how do I succeed? I feel fulfilled or that I succeed with you. Well, we do this conversation for half an hour, 45 minutes, sometimes 1 hour. And at the very end, I feel that I did my best. I succeed in this little short period of time. So I feel satisfied, and then I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day because I'm retired now.
Yeah.
But if I'm working actively, my question is how good I did today when I came to the office by 9 and I leave the office by 5. These activities that I did makes me feel better or makes me feel that I was a productive person. I'm not going to tell you that every single day is going to be perfect. Sometimes you have to struggle with, colleagues, bosses, and many troubles. But if you do your best with passion and you feel that whoever is going to ask you about what are you addressing the situation, you can answer that you are putting the best energy in what are you doing, I think you succeed that day.
Mm-hmm.
So success is, once again, I'm going to say the formula. It's results over expectation. That's it. The more expectation you have, the more result you need to accomplish or to complete. And the success is the ratio between these two variables. The success is the results that you get versus the expectation that you place or set at the beginning of the process.
I like the simplicity of that.
It's very
Sounds
simple.
Good. Yeah, it's simple, it's good, it's logical. I like it.
It's very logical. And I was thinking, wow, it's that simple, yes, but what makes the difference? Why some people are extremely successful, or maybe in the reference we had in society, they accomplish things larger or greater than others. I think it's the ambition. This is the difference. One of the difference is the ambition. The more ambitious you are, the more expectation you put on it. So the more result you have to accomplish. in that way, you are getting a balance between the results and the expectation. And the closer that the results are for your expectation, the success is gonna be practically fulfilled, and you will feel very good about it. You will feel that you have done a very good job on whatever you challenge are taking or embracing. That's why it's very particular. Some people say, well, I feel my expectation is to have a house in the countryside with some domestic pets and some do some agricultural activities and so on. But for other, I want to live in New York in the most expensive penthouse, having, this kind of job and so on. So the difference is the ambitions factor. The more that you expect from something, the more the result that you need to get in order to feel that you are succeeding.
Yeah, and the ambition on its own is dependent upon so many factors. And one of these factors is belief, in your own skills, that you're able to accomplish it. And here I'd like to give a brief story, and maybe I've shared it before. It's about Napoleon Bonaparte. When he was a child, his destiny was foretold by a fortune teller. And the fortune teller, he was 7, I believe. And the fortune teller told him, when you, reach this and this age, you will be the ruler of the world. This was what the fortune teller foretold him. And he believed the fortune teller. And so he executed the prophecy. And so the question that remains is, was it really was this really a prophecy, or is it something that he simply believed? Or did it happen at the same time? It's a bigger topic, but the fact is, there are a lot of people that believe something about their future because they've been told so. Sometimes they've even been lied to. I can't give you an example at the moment, but I know I've read such stories. They've been lied to about their future in the sense of prophecy, and then they go to accomplish it.
I think the fuel that makes you to move forward is the belief. Because I think, for instance, the Napoleon.
Yeah, Napoleon.
I mentioned it in Spanish, Napoleon. Napoleon Bonaparte. I think when the storyteller or the card teller told him about this, he get completely identified with that idea. And he said, I'm very excited. I'm going to fight for it. And he steadily put his mind, his energy to accomplish that. And he embraced that, and he said, nothing is more important than accomplish being, the biggest guy in my time in the world. And he did it. Because what happened when somebody is telling you, oh, you are going to be a successful entrepreneur or businessman, and you have in your mind, and maybe in your mind, you said, well, hopefully, but I don't see myself. I don't envision myself in that position. You don't embrace that idea because you don't believe in yourself. I mean, I'm not giving a criticism. Because sometimes it happens, even up to me. Somebody told me, when you get 49, several years ago, you are going to be a very successful businessman. But I wasn't. And even I just always work in a 9-to-5 environment, in a corporate, very important corporates, in worldwide recognized it, but I never became that because I in my own case, humble, I have to recognize I didn't see myself as a businessman. When I was finishing my college, I just envisioned myself traveling a lot. That's why I studied electronics engineer, because that time I said to myself, I'm going to relate to many international companies, because something that I would like to do in my life is to travel and get paid for it. So I give to the companies my skills and my knowledge, and they gave me a job that allows me to be in the latest and greatest in technology, but at the same time traveling to Europe, to South America, to North America. I never pay for any trip. Never, ever. I always get paid for traveling, being in a plane, practically almost more than 50-60% of my time during the year while I was working, while I was active. But I envision myself doing that. And I fought for it, and I look for it. It's something that it was given for free. I start in one position, and I said strategically, I'm gonna find for some international company that I need some professionals like me. And I fight to get that position. And then from there, to find a way to be in a position inside the company that allows me to travel. So I always raise my hand when they say, I need somebody to go this and fight for this and get this. I will do it. I didn't know how to do it, but I say, I will do it, and I get it. And that allows me to fight for something, to get away from the fear, because it's something, another of the factor that we need to consider when we want to succeed in something is how to overcome fear. And how to overcome fear is just to confront fear. Everybody has fear. Even the most challenging person that is doing extraordinary things, the S game and so on, the best singer, they always have some sort of fear before they perform.
I would suggest a bit of a twist here, but you finish what you have to say, and I will then add something regarding fear.
What I mean is, fear is having 5 minutes more than everybody else, just to wait to confront what you had at front and to overcome, and makes the difference. Because you had that, and you feel it in your heart that you have to do it. Otherwise, you're gonna, I will say, you have to wait maybe another opportunity. And the goal in this moment is, no, I want to mark the difference, and I'm gonna do it. Yes, please.
When it comes to fear, I was thinking, in my personal case, confronting the fear hasn't been effective. I don't think it has. But what I've done is I've used tools based on neuroscience, like the Silva method, NLP, and other tools that I know, to make the fear factor irrelevant, and to turn it around, and also mindset tools. I'll give you an example. I have had fear of public speaking in certain cases, not all the time, but I have had fear of public speaking previously. And I remember one instance where I was particularly bad. And from this moment on, I decided, okay, now I'm going to train myself with the Silva method and overcome this. And I read a few books on public speaking and so on. So I used multiple methods to combat this, but the thought or the perspective that changed the point of view, changed my perspective to fear, so it made it irrelevant, was when it comes to public speaking, it doesn't matter how people perceive you, it matters what message you have to give to them. So what is it that is important to me? Is it to communicate what I have to say for their benefit, or is it how they see me? And so when you realize that you actually have something to give, to offer, it doesn't matter how others see you. And this was my way to change the perspective to the fear factor. And, you know, depending on what you're afraid of, you can use certain tools to make it irrelevant by looking from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Of course, eventually I had to confront my fear and also speak, you know, in order to prove to myself and gain small successes and successes and successes so that I feel more confident about it. Yes, but that's not confronting it anymore. It's like facing it, but without fighting it directly. Yeah.
Yes, I think we passed from the same experience in respecting, you know, the differences. When I was a child, in I think the second, third grade in primary school, elementary school, I was the one that was chosen to do some exposition. I don't remember what it was. There is a panel asking question, and I'm supposed to be the one answering the question. I was so afraid that I said nothing. I was mute. I was in silent. I was the best in my class, but not the best talking in public. It was a shame, but okay, they take me away and put somebody else. So some sort of drama and trauma I brought with me along my life. And one day I said, I'm gonna confront that. I'm gonna be a public speaker about technology. So I decided when I was in the corporate job that I'm going to be the one doing the conference for the latest and greatest in technology. It was the way to confront that. But it took me a lot of courage, training, and many things in order to become the person that when some event comes, they say, Alfredo is the one going down there and to talk about technology. It was the only way to confront that public trauma that I had when I was a kid. So then, of course, it wasn't, something that then I feel very comfortable doing, improving, and something very important also. To succeed, you have to fail, or you make mistakes. I'm not gonna say failures. You make mistakes. And you don't have to, embrace the mistakes. You learn through mistake. That's why the famous said that trial and error or something like that. You have to try and fail and error, and then to continue until you master. When you master, you are the master. But any master that you see, even the most natural master, they always have to confront something. Nobody's perfect. And it's confronting our fears. And specifically when we want to succeed in something because we want to become in some career, or I want to be the boyfriend for this girl, or I want to have this house or whatever, it's always something that is holding you back, that is telling you don't do it. Sometimes the ego is like very good example that I was listening today. The ego wants to earn to have $1 million doing nothing. So it's not like that. You have to earn it. And to earn it, you have to have scratches in your face or some sort of painful situation that you have to pass by. But when you earn it, when you are, like, I was listening to, I don't know, it's the girl the lady that did the Titanic with DiCaprio, Winslet, I think. Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslet, yeah.
Yeah. She had an award on her hand, and she said, when I was more or less, when I was 12 or when I was a kid, I was in the, in the theater or something like that, trying to manifest my actors. I want to be an actress. And the teacher said, okay, when we see that in the script or in the project, we find a fat girl that need to be represented, I'm gonna call you. And she said, and she showed the award. Thank you, teacher. I did it. So she believed in herself. That's why when I said the identity and the reputation, the teacher was seeing her, I will say, reputation in the means that what he sees about her. But her integrity about her identity, she said, I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. And she did it. And she did it well because she's very famous worldwide. The teacher, you even don't know his name. And it happened to many people. That's why success or to succeed is very particular. You are your own bar. You are your own award. You had your own fight, how to use your energies, when to use it, when to just wait for the right moment. It's very particular. In that sense, I said, don't compare to anyone. Use reference, but don't compare to anyone because it will discourage you. Fight your own battles, but your own battles, the one that you choose to fight for. And you believe that you are going to win. No others. And this is one of the secrets for succeed. And use this, this very simple formula. Success is results over expectation. That's it. If you use little by little expectation, you are getting your results. And in time, you're going to have a very nice or very big results. And you will fulfill and maybe over fulfill the expectation. So you will feel that you succeed. Sometimes you said maybe, well, sometimes it's not like this. And sometimes maybe to feel succeed is that if you are, for instance, if you are in a very bad shape, you feel that you are biting the sand, the dust. Maybe to feel that you are succeeding is at least to feel the comfort to avoid the struggling situation that you are passing by. And then you can restart again. Because, I mean, we don't know the circumstances for everyone that are living. The reference is is different for everyone.
What do you mean by the circus dancers?
Suppose that that you were born in a very restricted country. They put so many restrictions that you, as a woman, are not allowed to drive a car.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe sometime you, with a group of women, you reach the point that you convince the government that you have to drive a car. The circumstances are different than in the United States.
The circumstances. Sorry, I heard
the
the
circumstances.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
sorry, the circumstances. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have to also be very grounded in the sense that we need to know the circumstances. Yeah. What is the starting point? Sometimes you are lucky enough that you are in a middle-class family and you can start in one point that is more comfortable than somebody that is very just getting the basics to survive. So you have to struggle more. So reality is something of this is another factor that you have to consider for success. But it's something that is not impossible. When I was listening to these days, 2 days ago, that's the last speech about Steve Jobs. I don't remember, it was in Stanford or I didn't know that he was adopted. I didn't know that, and it was very particular because I knew that. I mean, I learned that he was adopted for one family that it was wealthy, but I think they weren't. And then after he was with a family that was less prominent, I will say, something that his mother was trying to avoid. And at the very end, what his mother was trying to avoid, he get into that point. It was the reason why he was adopted, or he was given an adoption, because the mother wants him to be living in a decent or reasonable income family. And I think the family couldn't make it. I don't remember. I'm sorry about the details, but he went down again, almost to the same position he was before adoption. But he did what he did. He confronted his circumstances.
Well, I think that there are a lot of examples of people that manage to overcome their limiting circumstances where they come from. And I know of many examples of people that I've been in touch with that have succeeded this way. And when it comes to celebrities and people that are in the public eye, you never know what part of this is like a corporate legend or something that is created in order to feed the American dream. And what percentage of this is true, we can't say. And I don't think we generally should be orienting ourselves towards these particular stories. I mean, it's enough to know that, yes, if somebody wants something, they can achieve it. It is possible, but, you know, these city or business or corporate legends or whatever you call them, we don't know. Nobody can verify. None of us can verify whether this is true or not. I know that he was adopted, but who gave him a hand for the first million and so on? You know, the question that Aristotle Onassis always asked was, "You tell me how you earned your first million, and then, you know, we can talk about the rest of how you made your wealth." So it turns out that a lot of the initial spring that famous people got, was not because of their own qualities as are portrayed to us. I'm talking about famous people. So,
but they have good ideas. Somebody's not gonna put 1 million on the table with a flow idea. It has to be a very good idea.
has to be an idea also that serves somebody else's idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's part of the history. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But talking a little bit more about the success, maybe we need to discuss that in another time, because I know that, in the card of truth, we had the success card. We talked about this, I think, last year. It's the Ecliptica.
Ah, okay. No, I didn't know that that was the success card.
Yeah, it's the success
Mhm.
card. Every
Okay.
time that we want to find the path of success using the card of truth, we need to combine our birth card with the Ecliptica. And
And what do you mean to combine? How does that happen?
because when we do our chart with our based on the card of truth, we had 13 cards below the birth card, and among these between all these among these all these 13 cards below the birth card, there is one that is defining the path that is where all the other cards are orbiting, and it's the ecliptic card. The ecliptic card is the number 10. It's the magician card. It's the wheel of fortune card. And that card, we know how to interpret that card. It's giving us a path to succeed in life. And if we also combine those cards with the expectation card, which is the Venus card. I mean, when I was researching here, I say, well, this belongs to this card. This belongs to Saturn. Many times help us to accomplish. I mean, to succeed in something. Mars, when we confront the fears. Saturn, when we know how to place our boundaries. Venus, when we set our expectations, and when we learn how to get fulfilled with these Venetian things that most of the people is searching for, to feel that they are accomplish something in this mundane world. And the Sun card is the one that is giving you the passion to move forward. The Moon card is the one that is giving you the adaptability when things are not going the way you want to be. The Moon is helping you to adapt. Jupiter is the one that is giving you all the great purpose and the meaning in life, in the relationships. Mercury is the one that is giving you the intelligence to get the best that you have on your hands to make your life comfortable and livable, and so on. I mean, all those positions are working together, but sometimes they are not working together in the sense that, when the expectation comes and they are good aspected, but they are not well aspected, somebody is barring the other, is when the card of truth is telling you a deeper situation sometimes, because sometimes we have good years, sometimes we don't have good years. But it's a matter of the card of truth. And they are good at.
How would you, now that you mentioned having a good year and not a good year, what would you advise people having a not so good year to do? Should they still persevere, or?
Sometimes you have to persevere, but being passive. When you have a bad year, sometimes it's not good to pull the trigger. And you can see that when you evaluate the Ecliptica. Remember, the Ecliptica every year change, like the solar return. We have something that is fixed, which is our birth, the natal chart, and something that is evolving every year, which is the solar return or the year card. And sometimes we are a very good success card in the Ecliptic card, and they're very well aspected. So it's the time to take action. Sometimes it's not very good. There are some techniques that you have to follow to associate the energy. It's gonna be worth it to proceed, or it's better to just to wait a little bit longer to avoid any frustration. So how do I evaluate that? I have to take the Ecliptic card and how they are impacting all the different positions, that domains, the different aspects of our life during that year. And yeah, sometimes people say, do I gonna have any energy or any relationship this year? I'm gonna have a better energy for businesses and so on. Or it's something that it has to do with myself, with my self-development, and so on. So using the card of truth, you can, I will say, set up your goals, what is the best way to use your resources. So at the very end of the year, you can feel that you succeed that year. And if you had some purpose that it takes longer than a year, 2 years, 5 years, or you can feel that you use your resources well in along the way in your path to get your final goal, what you want to achieve, to fulfill it, and you feel that you succeed. But it's using the year by year spread.
Wonderful. So shall we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Give the final words regarding the topic.
Yeah, to me, success is something very particular. It's something that has to be done with passion. Not everything we have to do it with passion, but at least our, great purpose, the thing that we like to that we envision about ourselves, what we would like to become, how to improve myself from today comparing to myself next week, in 52 weeks, after 3 years from now. I want to have the passion, have the fuel to keep me on the track, on the path, to finally accomplish my goal. Remember, goals are always dynamic. It's not something fixed. Once you get one goal, I'm pretty sure you're going to be thinking about a new one. So it's very dynamic. But it's very particular. You have to feel it. It's the fire that you have inside. Otherwise, it's not sustainable on time, and you will be quitting. And when you see the very first wind blowing you. So the secret to me, the very first is the passion. It's like the sun. They always there, regardless the weather, the condition, the sun is gonna rise every single day. So find your sun, find that energy that you had inside, and do you have to fight for it?
Wonderful. So I'm just going to add something here generally for everybody watching. I know that people that watch this channel mostly come for spirituality, mindset, silver method, manifestation topics. Not only, but a lot of the topics that you guys are interested in revolve around these. And I've observed that the people that I speak to when you come to me for a consultation, at the beginning, sometimes people expect miracles, and miracles do come, but they're more like a one-off thing, like a beginner's luck. And if you want continuous success, you need to put continuous action. So perseverance and action is very often something that we're missing from the whole concept of mindset, of spirituality. And yeah, we are spirit and body in one. So we do need to take action with this body after we've attuned our minds, our neurology, our spiritual perception to the right purpose, to the right soul purpose. We need to move this body and actually get it to do something. So there's this saying that I'm reminded about now. And there was a person talking to a martial arts I don't know, ninja guru, I don't know what they're called. And the master said to the student, I am not afraid of your 10,000 strikes. I am afraid of the one strike that you've practiced 10,000 times. So it's about perseverance. It's about training a muscle in a particular thing that you want to be successful in and taking action towards it. That's my words. And before we close, I would just like to show you one subscription product that we have on Healnlearn. It is the Healnlearn Subscription, where we have group, right now it's on offer, where you can choose 4 group calls a month with 4 trainers of your choice. And Alfredo is also here. So these are live groups that we have. And you can choose 4 of these. So once a week, you get to get personal attention from, one of these trainers. Just like you buy yourself food or clothes, you need to also take care of the spiritual and mindset side of your purpose. Get aligned. It's not only, let me see what forecast somebody has for me, but what can I do to improve myself?
Great. I like it.
And guys, I'll be putting the link below for a one-on-one session with Alfredo if you're interested in having a reading with the cards of truth or holistic coaching regarding relationships, any topic that is of interest to you. The cards of truth is a very exact methodology. I've personally been given lots of readings by Alfredo, so I know so. Thank you very much for watching that long. And if you enjoyed it, share, give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching. And thank you, Alfredo, for bringing up this interesting topic.